pick a winner?
It's certainly a very difficult one, Tony. It's a very closely contested one. I think Paveletich has certainly got to be considered, but Williams getting a real flyer of a start there. And 22, Phil Payne tucked in behind him, and there's Bill Cooney on the number 7, Kawasaki, up there in 3rd position. This is the best start that he's had so far today.
But it's Payne who takes the lead. I think Payne in front of Williams as they rush down the hill. Yes, 22 in front of Glenn Williams, and up into 3rd place is Paveletich.
I wonder if Phil Payne's wider handlebars than some of the rest there might be helping a little with a bit more leverage.
Yes, and he's got this bike well tuned with the 750 cylinder head on the 350 barrels that has given him some of a wider spread of power.
There's no doubt about Phil Payne. He's certainly opened up a substantial lead already as they go down onto the lakeside part of today's circuit. A very experienced man, winner of the Castrol 6-hour race.
Glenn Williams in hot pursuit and Paveletich in 3rd place. That's the two that we expect the race to be between. Although Phil Payne held a very, very steady 3rd place for much of the second leg. Once the other two got in front of him, he certainly couldn't match pace with them, but he held off the rest of the pack very easily. So watch for Glenn Williams coming through with Paveletich pushing him very hard indeed. And can Phil Payne hold on for the space of 6 laps, which this race has been shortened to?
And the little 350 Yamaha certainly accelerated up the hill very well there, didn't it? Drove up the hill beautifully and got away from both Williams and Paveletich, and Paveletich looking for a way through past Williams, but thought better of it and dropped back.
Now they start to pick him up a little closer. Bill Cooney in there in 5th place.
And they're right up on Payne's back end there under the brakes, and Paveletich has gone wide. He's just braked too late, and that's dropped him back a place, right in the time he doesn't want to, because now he's behind Cooney through the tricky section, and he certainly doesn't want to let Payne and Williams get away. If he loses touch with them, he'll be in real trouble.
And he really has got to sit behind Cooney there unless he's prepared to take a risk getting through this piece, which leaves Glenn Williams to attack Phil Payne. Paveletich hasn't lost very much, but he's got to sit where he is for just a moment.
In the meantime, 22, Phil Payne leads the way.
Just looking again at what Paveletich did wrong, just overshooting the corner there.
It looked as though he feared that he was going to run into the back of Payne and just thought about avoiding his back end instead of doing the braking that he should have been, and moved offline and had to go straight on. But it's still Payne that leads from Williams, and Cooney still keeps out Paveletich.
Cooney was very quick to take advantage when Paveletich overshot, nipping round the inside there, and knowing that he could hold it through that section down by the lakeside.
And now this is a shortened race, so there are only 4 laps remaining, and very little time for Paveletich to redress the balance, and those two seem to be getting further away, if anything.
In terms of points, Glenn Williams will be happy to be in front of Paveletich, although he'll want to get in front of Payne, which he's doing.
And he'd see the back end slide on the white line there, and that lost him the lead that he just won. Payne back in front as Williams made the mistake. He just locked the back end up on the white line, and it slid sideways, making him run wide. So it's Payne that leads from Williams.
Looking back now to 3rd place to see if Bill Cooney is still in there, in front of Paveletich. But that's allowed these two to get away with just a little bit of a gap. Now there's Paveletich back in front of Cooney.
But he's got a few laps to do it.
Paveletich has got the hardest job of all to catch these leaders. Glenn Williams will be sitting behind Phil Payne there. One imagines he'll have another go at it on the top side of the circuit before they go down to the lakeside. Glenn Williams is looking over his shoulder to see where the rest of the opposition is, and perhaps looking at the back of the bike as well.
And Payne certainly has to drive up over the hill there, doesn't he? Gets up there very, very quickly. But that's Paveletich, number 4, in 3rd place with his head down now and chasing these two leaders, Payne and Williams.
I wonder if there's not something amiss with Glenn Williams' bike. Catching up at this little section. Having another go on the inside. Can't do it that time either. Lock up the back wheel.
Paveletich definitely starting to close the gap now between himself and Glenn Williams. He's making it up round through the bottom part of the circuit, but then when they swoop down onto the actual lakefront, he seems to drop back about 3 or 4 lengths. But Paul Paveletich certainly keeping up the challenge on the Ginger Malloy tuned Yamaha.
It'll be interesting to see what Paveletich can do with these machines he's got in the future, because I understand he's got some backing from Seba Geiger. Now in Europe, Seba Geiger right into Formula One and Grand Prix motorcycle racing with some high-tech materials, although here they're only known for their agricultural products. So I should think we'll see some high-tech materials coming into New Zealand racing soon if Paveletich keeps the help from Seba Geiger.
They were the people that started using the honeycomb construction in the frames.
Yes, they've been using the honeycomb carbon fibre construction in their Grand Prix bikes, as ridden by Rob McElnay to great effect this year, and it'll be interesting to see what they can do as Paveletich now closes right up on both Williams and Payne. It's building up to a very, very exciting last couple of laps.
Now, has Paveletich got enough space to get up on Williams? I think the way Glenn Williams is riding in this race, if he can get close enough, he may be able to do something about it. Williams having another go. He's past Payne. This time he's done it. So Paveletich has Payne between Williams and himself.
And as we found before, Paveletich really doesn't seem to have the answer through this tricky section. Both Glenn Williams' machine and Phil Payne's bike seem to drive out the corners better. It'll be difficult for Paveletich to get past here before they get to the top of the circuit again, but he's certainly trying, pressurising both of them now.
Glenn Williams is not able to get away from Payne very quickly. So it's not costing Paul Paveletich too much at the moment. He's going to have a go this time.
Trying around the outside, very difficult. That was where Trinder crashed, but he's got away with it. Slips back in behind Payne. Perhaps he'll think about gabbing on the brakes into the last hairpin.
These three have started to clear away now from Bill Cooney on the Go Motorsport Kawasaki.
And that's exactly what Paveletich did. He nipped inside him on brakes into the hairpin, and although Payne had the drive out of the corner, Paveletich was able to hold second place. And as they pick up the last lap fare, it's now just Williams holding first place, only just from Paveletich.
And the way Paveletich has picked up that gap, it's quite on the cards. He can get past Glenn Williams, and he does!
Very determined bit of riding as Paveletich now leads. He knew that it was the last lap, and his only chance to pass Williams was over the hill, but Williams can try him on the brakes down into the hairpin, turning it right-handed into the park, and he does so. He takes the line, and Payne's looking for the inside line as well, but Paveletich closes the door on Payne. Payne almost stalls, has to foot round the corner, and Paveletich seizes once more the chance to chase Williams among the flower beds.
What an adventurous piece of riding from Paul Paveletich. Astonishing that he was prepared to try that and got away with it at least for half of the circuit. Williams picking him up again as they turn down to go down by the lane. So last chance coming up now for Paul Paveletich.
Surely his only chance is the same manoeuvre he tried on Payne, is to try and outbrake Williams up the inside into the last corner, and that's what he's keying himself up for now. He'll be seizing the opportunity, looking for that inside line into the last hairpin. Yes, there he goes up the inside, but who will get the drive out? Paveletich takes almost the front wheel away from Williams, very, very cheeky, and leads on the drive up towards the finish line.
I think very cheeky is perhaps understatement for the way Paul Paveletich came out of that, but well done. Paveletich takes it from Glenn Williams on the last lap. It always looked as though he could, the way he caught up after his little mishap early on in the race. And I think there might be some discussion back in the pits between Glenn Williams and Paul Paveletich. Great rivals on the track, great friends of it.
And it wasn't, although it was a cheeky manoeuvre, it wasn't a dangerous manoeuvre.